Hi, friends, and welcome to this episode of Relational Skills in Real Life. This is Christy Herring, Director of Operations for Thrive Today. And if you've been tuning in, you know that I've been stepping in temporarily for Chris Coursey to do a longer series of interviews with our Thrive Today team and trainers and volunteers. And this has been really fun, just a fun time for me to get to chat with some amazing people and introduce you to them, introduce you to them and give you a chance to hear about how relational skills are making an impact in all of our lives. Today, I'm really excited to introduce to you Rebecca Glazer. Rebecca is our Thrive Premier Training Coordinator, and one of the things I love about Rebecca is her beautiful gift of hospitality and helps. That makes her such a fabulous Premier Training Coordinator. She's an incredible gift to our team, and I look forward to you guys hearing from her today. So, hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
It's good to see you today and get to chat.
Yes, I'm excited to have this conversation.
So, Rebecca, one of the first questions I ask everybody is just if you could share with us how you got to know about Thrive Today and relational skills in the first place.
Yeah, Jim Wilder and Kitty spoke at an event that we were at, and we were immediately drawn to the life model. It's like we hadn't heard the concepts before, but they hit a chord in us. Like, oh wow, this is what we've been looking for. So we started reading all the books and listening to teachings and anything that we could get our hands on.
That's awesome. And then you joined our team. I'm trying to think, was it like 2022,
Yeah,
2020,
I believe so.
something around
Mhm.
there? And so it was just such a beautiful fit to have you come on and be with us. And I'm going to mention too, a lot of these podcasts refer back to Life Model Works. And so if you happen to be unfamiliar with that concept, we have a podcast episode where Chris Coursey talks about the life model and how that's related to what we do. So we'll list that in the description of this video so you can take a listen if that's new for you. So, Rebecca, we're talking about relational skills, how they make an impact in our lives. And you got a little bit of it. We've done, most people, not everybody, most people have talked about like a specific skill, how that's made an impact, but you were really inspired to share about our Thrive Premier training because you were invested in that before you ever became the coordinator of it. And you're really passionate about it. And so you're going to be talking to us about how this has made an impact for you, for your family. So why don't you just start sharing with us and we'll have a conversation about it.
Okay. Well, I read the book Transforming Fellowship about the 19 skills. And after every skill, it'd be like, and you should go to Thrive training. I'm like, well, I want to, but I had little children at the time. And so it wasn't going to work out for me to be gone for a week. Um, but finally, my kids got old enough that we felt like we could leave them for a week and go. And it was amazing the difference that being at an in-person training
Mm.
made over just reading about a skill. And then like, okay, I'm going to do the little written down practice afterward. Watching people model it, watching the trainers model it, and the other people around us and then we just didn't even realize, like brain skills 1 and 2, sharing joy and then quieting. We're like, we've got this. We know how to stare into someone's eyes and then be quiet for a little bit. And but we weren't like catching on to the rhythms of it, of noticing how it felt in our bodies or noticing overwhelm or that kind of thing. And the trainers know. So you go to track one and they're like, you need to rest now. And we're all like, we do. Like, and so they just have you rest. Or like we probably need to bring the joy level back up. And so, they'll show you pictures of cute babies or something. Like, but they know the rhythm, like a healthy rhythm, and are teaching you in this track of what that feels like. And when you get done with the week, you're like, whoa, okay, now I know what that feels like in my body. And so when you go back home, you practice many more than those 2 skills. Like there are a lot of skills in every track mixed in. So you get um, a good sampling of a lot of the skills. But you go home, you're like, I feel like I know how to do it now. So even if I'm practicing with the book again, I know what it's supposed to feel like. And it's just, I call it a level up. It's like
Mhm.
it gets you that next bump up in your practice. So that is
That's awesome.
skills and training.
Yeah, no, that's so good. Yeah, we often talk about it's kind of like uh sports camp.
Hmm.
I was a cheerleader, so maybe that doesn't seem as sporty, but it is athletic. And I remember going to camp. It's like just a focus week to focus on your skills, to have experts around you that can help you hone and refine your skills. It's like you do come back at a different level, and then you've got this momentum going because you've had this time of intention, intention focus toward it. It is a game changer. So if we're trying to build these skills, yeah, this really does. I like that word, level up.
Hmm.
And so Rebecca, what have you seen in your own family, as far as, because it is like you mentioned, it was hard to find time to get there. The kids are old enough. It's a sacrifice. It's a lot of
Hmm.
money, it's time, especially for families. Um, so you guys have made a lot of sacrifices to be able to go through the training. What have been the benefits you guys have seen?
Yeah, I do want to acknowledge that it is hard when you have children. Um, and my kids were a little bit mad. They're like, don't ever do that again. Like, well, sweetie, now I know how to take a deep breath and quiet when uh, our
Mm.
family is getting a little energetic with maybe some negative feelings. Um, I remember the first time I noticed, like before it happened, that my relational circuits were going off. It was bedtime, the kids were being crazy, and I realized that my relational, this is skill zero, were dimming down, and I was about to snap at them. And I didn't. I stopped and I took a breath and I appreciated them. And they may not notice that in the moment, but it is helping my parenting so much, and my marriage as well, which benefits our whole family. And so we've also started telling our children stories about times when we've recovered from emotions, disappointments, times we've noticed we needed to rest. Um, and so those are just things that now that we've learned, that we've gone to training, we've practiced there, that we can start sprinkling into our family's life. And that has been incredibly helpful.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, the word that comes to my mind, Rebecca, as you're talking is it's almost like we come back more empowered, empowered
Hmm.
to live these skills out ourselves, to be the best version of ourselves with our family, with our friends, with the people in our lives. And we're also more empowered to share them. As you talk about sharing stories and to pass off what we've been given, we come away from the training empowered to be able to spread what we're learning with others. It's just really beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
So thinking of, let's talk specifically in terms of families, families
Mhm.
that long to see change. They want to see change maybe in the dynamics of their family. Maybe they want to be able to be better parents. Maybe they see things in their kids are like, oh, I want my kid to have more capacity to endure hard things or to deal with emotions. And your kids might be little, they might be grown. It doesn't change. Our heart for our families doesn't lessen as our kids get older. What advice would you have for families that are longing for those things but are finding barriers to being able to get to a training?
Yeah. Um, I get that because that was me for several years and and many other people that I talked to. And so there you can get started now preparing yourself for training. There are online courses that we ask people to go through so that they have the background knowledge before coming to training, and lists of great books to read, all kinds of resources. And those are online and available. You do not have to be signed up for training to go through those. I know since my first training was a couple of years ago, and my kids were even a bit younger than they are now, that I didn't have a lot of time to dedicate to preparing every day. And I was so pleased when I looked at the recommended reading list that I had read most of the books on there already because, like I couldn't go to training, but I could read a book. It would take me months, but I could read the book. And the online courses are the same way. So you can get started now, and even that information will help as you get ready. But we've also had parents band together to make the experience a little bit easier to get to. Like we had a friend who came and stayed at our house while we went to the training week and drove our kids to school. And then we helped pay for her training the next year. Like so
Mm,
we could work together to boost our community and our parenting skills together. We have some families where the grandparents will help their adult children pay for training and then babysit during that week. And so there are a lot of ways that families can work together to get those skills into their family normal.
that's really good. Yeah, I do want to encourage anybody who's listening and feeling inspired, or maybe you've already been thinking about Thrive Premier training and wanting to get there and not knowing how. I do encourage you to ask Jesus if you feel inspired to come, God, would you make a way? Would you make a way and give us creative solutions for what that could look like? And if you want us to be partnering with you in prayer, or you want us to help give any suggestions, because we do have some additional ideas, you can always email us. Email Rebecca at events@thrivetoday.org, and we would love to pray with you and strategize with you ways to get you there. And the last thing I'm going to mention is just this is something we hear over and over again from families who go through it, is what a worthwhile investment. One of our friends said, "This is like better than a vacation." uh, just being able to invest in our families. What is a better investment than pouring into the future of our families, the future of our kids? And so this is so worthwhile. And it's never too late. Even if you have adult children, we have so many people, they raise their kids and they're like, I wish we'd had this when our kids were younger. When they get the training, they see transformation in their lives. They begin to spread that to their kids, and they see changes in their kids' lives. Like Rebecca mentioned, some families will bring their kids or pay for their kids to go through the training as adults and offer childcare for their grandkids. So this has the potential to bring transformation in our families, no matter what stage you're at with your family. So if you want to know more about our Thrive Premier training, we have a web page at thrivetoday.org/, I think it's premier dash training. Is that what it is, Rebecca? Did I get that right? Okay. And on that page, we also have some webinars we've done on this. When you get to the webinar on YouTube, there's actually even a playlist that has testimonies about people who've gone through our Thrive Premier training. Chris also talked about some frequently asked questions about our Thrive Premier training in podcast episode 92. And like Rebecca said, you can also get started on the prep work if you are like, I don't know if I can go right now, but I think I really want to. And if you have any questions about that, you can just email Rebecca at events@thrivetoday.org. The prep work is also listed on that webpage that I mentioned. And lastly, if you are just like, I just don't think I can come to a training, but I want to invest in skills, check out our events page. If you go to thrivetoday.org and go to I think we have an events tab for upcoming events, and check out our groups, our online offerings. Those are a great way to invest in the relational skills, and you're still going to see a benefit by practicing online with us. So, Rebecca, friend, thank you so much for being on and sharing with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This has been great. I hope you guys are encouraged, and I hope you have a wonderful day. We look forward to seeing you for our next episode of Relational Skills in Real Life.